Hello YouTube, welcome to Hawaii Knife and Gear Review. Wanted to bring you a fixed blade knife today and tell you a story about it. The reason I'm doing this one, I don't want anybody who may have seen some of my videos, all 200 of you, to think that I'm only going to review Tucson knives on this channel. It's true, I do like Tucson stuff. I've got probably way more than I should at this point, and I have a lot of them that I wanted to review, but I decided to do this particular fixed blade tonight. This is probably my favorite fixed blade knife I've ever owned. I found this on eBay for right around $35. It is actual D2 steel. I do, through my work, have access to an XL PMI analyzer gun, and this does test as actual D2. G10 scales on it, removable. It is skeletonized underneath. I've taken the scales off to oil it and make sure that getting corroded under there. And the logo on it is the Fox Knives Military Division logo. However, being sold on the Chinese site that I bought it off of for $35, I would imagine this is not actually a Fox knife. I've looked on Fox's website. I've looked through a lot of their old pages. I couldn't actually find the Fox knife that this would be a clone of, though. So if anybody knows better than I do, you're welcome to leave in the comments what this knife is a clone of. I would love to know. I couldn't find it. I assumed that maybe they just took the logo and stuck it on here because, well, China. Regardless of that fact, this happens to be my favorite fixed blade. It's the right size. It fits my hand perfectly. The handle is really super comfortable on it. It's extremely sharp. It came shaving sharp out of the box, and I actually have owned I think 3 of these so far. Ended up reselling 2 of them and kept this one. This is my coconut opening knife. This is my everyday carry fixed blade. Anytime I'm going to put a fixed blade on my belt, this is the one that I end up grabbing. I really am 100% in love with this knife. The Kydex sheath, I did drill a little drain hole in the bottom of it, but other than that, it fits in here perfect. No rattle, anything. It's just a good sized little knife, and it's sturdy. I pry open rock hard brown coconuts with it all the time, and it's still dead straight. Jimping is comfortable. It's not super aggressive. The thumb ramp really, when I'm cleaning out the inside of coconuts, it's got good grip even when it's wet and covered in coconut oil. So I absolutely love this knife. The reason I bought this was my previous everyday carry fixed blade was pretty similar. Actually, this is the Charade SC HF13. Again, it's a perfect size little knife. Same type of G10 scales. This is actually a CR13 MOV steel, which is decent. It holds a good edge. I carried this knife for a little over a year, and the stonewash coating holds up really well on it. I've only had to resharpen it once or twice to put a good edge back on it, but it's a good knife. I absolutely would recommend this one to anybody. Same thing, it's in the $30 price range. Decent Kydex sheath with it. A little bit of rattle over time, but even after a year, the retention is good on it. It's a great knife. I was looking for something in D2 steel to replace this, and that's when I came across this one on eBay. Funny story about that, there was actually another one that was similar to this, but it had what I thought to be a nicer sheath. The sheath actually had a piece of nylon that went up, so it would sit at belt level instead of up above your belt line. And I ended up buying that one first because I liked the look of the sheath better, and the knife itself was actually fairly similar. The only real difference in the handle was it didn't have this extra bump at the end, and it didn't have the extended tang. But for all intent and purpose, the knife itself, the blade looked pretty similar, and I just liked the sheath better, so I ordered that one first. And when it came in, it ended up, it wasn't comfortable in my hand. It was a little bit too small. The handle just came down too short at the bottom. It just didn't have the same grip. So I hesitated on buying this one on eBay for a long time, but I eventually broke down and finally just bought it. And when it came in, I was absolutely in love. As soon as I got it, I knew the second I pulled out of the package, this is just the right size fit for my hand. And it's one of those things, when you know it's the right knife for me. So so after this one came in, here's where the funny story comes in. I ended up selling this one to a friend of mine who's also into knives, and he was looking for a fixed blade. So I told him, yeah, sure, I just got another one in. I'll, you know, sell you this one, no problem. So he did. He took it, and I don't know, I kind of started regretting my decision to get rid of it after that, and I was looking at buying another one. So when I went to buy another one off of eBay, I thought, wow, that's a really good price. I'll go ahead and pick that up. And what showed up in the mail was this, an exact miniature replica of what was my favorite knife. And I thought it was too funny. I didn't realize that they had a mini version based on the part number, and the description was wrong on the eBay seller site. It said multi-position Kydex belt sheath, so I thought I was ordering this one, and this is what showed up. So the seller was nice enough to refund me and decided to let me keep this one. So after this one came in, I talked to my friend. I said, look, I gotta have the other knife back. It's too funny. I gotta have it's the big brother and the little brother. So I ended up trading him something else and got this one back from him. And that's the story of the Charade SCHF 13, big and small. But yeah, it's actually a pretty comfortable little neck knife. Also, I did put the extra little snake lanyard on there, so it's comfortable enough to hold in your hand, and you get a little bit of purchase on it with the back of your fingers here. So I'm not much for neck knives, but if I was actually gonna put one on my neck, it would probably be this one. So anyway, that's the story of my charades. But back to this guy. Again, if anybody else has any better information on this thing, I would love to hear it. But as far as I'm concerned, this is one of the best deals I've ever found on eBay. 35 bucks, and just a perfect size little fixed blade knife for me. So again, thank you for watching. If you've made it this far, I do appreciate it. I know I'm a new channel starting out, and I'd be surprised if anybody's watched this far, but you never know. So if so, I hope to see you again next time. Thanks.